fields. The gentleman from Iowa, Mr. Nunn, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to thank the panel for being here. And Chair, as a fellow Air Force fellow, it's good to see you in that seat. As we look at what Congress has been trying to grapple with this idea of artificial intelligence, I've only been here 2 terms. We've talked about it every single year. In fact, we were on the AI task force, something this committee helped lead, to be able to address real solutions. But I think Washington does a lot of talking, and we should be doing a lot more listening, particularly to practitioners in the field who have been addressing this, combating it, addressing it, and finding new solutions for it, and incorporating your experience into the way that we do policy. As opposed to DC being the one who writes the rules of the road and then expects you to execute them, we should be doing this in collaboration. Mr. Chair, it's one of the reasons I'm leading a piece of policy called the AI Plan Act, or the Artificial Intelligence Plan Act, to ensure that we here in Washington are incorporating and getting our own house in order before we start telling the innovators, the pioneers, and candidly the defenders how best to do it under a government auspice. I look back at where we were with cybersecurity when I was director of cybersecurity at the NSC. Many of the solutions were already being provided on the public sector and the private sector when we worked together. So with that, I want to be able to dive into a couple of issues that have been addressed when it comes to artificial intelligence. First and foremost, the idea of misinformation and how it happens not only in the financial space, but across our government. It's lowered the barrier to entry. It's allowed misinformation to expand at an accelerated rate. We saw it even this week, tragically, with the death of Charlie Kirk, Russian bots providing inception for everything from conspiracy theories to misaligning our own communications right here in our own country. So, Dr. Christian Lau, you have been a leader in Dynamo AI. You have made it an effort to really bring this technology on board. I want to ask you, what should Congress be doing right now to do those things like combating state-sponsored terrorism, including information warfare?
Yeah, that's a great question. And particularly you mentioned the PLAN Act, which you proposed, which I think is a really great step forward in looking at these different risks, how AI can be used for misinformation, but also used for different types of financial crimes, right? And threaten systemic risk to our system. One thing that I emphasize is that keeping up with the pace of the technology is key, and talking to practitioners about the latest risks is absolutely essential to making effective legislation, right? One thing that I had an opportunity to talk to your team about is the advent of AI agents, and particularly you brought up cybersecurity risks, right? So AI agents is where you give these systems more autonomy to carry out end-to-end workflows and tasks. A lot of times they can go in many different directions. But this also opens up new risks for agents to potentially exfiltrate data, or for state actors to leverage agents and actually send what we call prompt injection or jailbreak attacks to actually exfiltrate information from protected systems in the financial services or elsewhere. So an AI agent can pull an email, that email could have an embedded hidden instruction or prompt injection, and that agent can then be overridden to actually perform malicious tasks like crash a system or exfiltrate sensitive information. So I think the work that you've been doing on this act, as well as talking to leading practitioners, is absolutely key to keep up with these risks.
I could not agree with you more that, the challenge here is the technology is going to move much faster than the policy is able to keep up. So being able to provide a framework versus prescription, something the AI Plan Act intends to do, but also brings in best practitioners in this. I want to talk with you, Matt Reisman. You're at the Center for Information Policy Leadership. You've seen some of these innovations come on board. Talk to us a little bit about how not only we incorporate them to have a better safeguard for our government and our citizenry, but where the innovation is really being pioneered a lot of times by our private sector partners. How should we be incorporating that into how we do work here in Washington, D.C.?
Thank you for the question. I think, number one thing that's been encouraging to us to see is that, on the one hand, you have said the technology is moving quickly. Responsible actors in the space are continuing to innovate, but they're not leaving their values, and they're concerned about making trustworthy AI behind. Smart businesses in the sector, including a lot of the leaders, recognize that having trustworthy technology isn't just good, it's good for business, because customers, government, other stakeholders have more trust and faith in the technology that we're building, that they are building. There's a lot to be said for government setting certain standards around transparency and asking for folks to show how does the technology work at a high level, how are some of those specifications made.
I would like to continue to see this level of collaboration in the same way we've done with cyber defense and bringing an AI consortium together of business leaders like yourself, of innovators like yourself to be able to do this. I think that starts with the AI Plan Act. With that, I yield my time.
The gentleman